The color Muslin. The paint company Benjamin Moore. This is Hue Review, so let's do some reviewing. I'm James, this is the Paint People, where we talk about all things painting, decorating, and color theory. Today's sponsor is us. ThePaintPeople.com is your go-to destination for quality paint and paint supplies. Whether you're a do-it-yourself enthusiast or a professional painter, we have everything you need to make your project a success. Visit our website today and discover a world of colors, quality, and convenience. And as a thank you for supporting us on YouTube, use coupon code JAMES5 for 5% off your order. Hue Review is all about reviewing a paint color from my eyes. So the way that I like to do it is I want to tell you the vibe of the color, how versatile it is in practical use, and then I'll give you my verdict, whether I like it or not, whether I would use it in my home, just to give you some divinity. Is that a word? Some solidification of whether I like this color or not. And before I do anything, I'll give you some comparable colors from different paint companies in case you don't feel like using Benjamin Moore for whatever reason. These are going to be close matches. They're not going to be spot-on matches, so don't come at me, okay? All right, so let's get right to this color. Muslin is a pretty popular paint color. It's one of the neutral paint colors that I used quite a bit growing up in the painting industry. Back before there was all the classic grays of the world and the edgecomb grays, Muslin was one that seemed to be a go-to choice for a lot of people because it is neutral, but it still kind of feels warm and cozy overall. And another thing is it seems like it's not too light or too dark. It has about a 66-ish LRV. So my new viewers, my people that have yet to click the subscribe button, you know, no big deal. This whole LRV thing is the light reflectance value, which is a percentage of light that the color reflects. So the higher that number is, the lighter it'll appear in your home. And obviously, colors in the 50s are around a mid-tone. 66 is kind of in that lighter mid-tone, darker light color. What that translates to is a color that is pretty easy to work with as a wall color. I feel like once you're in that 60 range, 65, 66, that is going to be pretty usable. So if you're thinking a hallway color where you want it to still feel light and airy, but not too bright, not too stark and boring, Muslin can give you that because it has a bit of saturation. I feel like this color is one of those quintessential grayish colors where it combines a base of beige and then some gray to sort of tone it down and prevent it from feeling too creamy or too oatmeal-y. This color has just a nice balance between warm and cool, I feel. Although it does favor the warm side, don't get me wrong. And also, as a new father, I've been using a lot of muslin cloths lately. So this color I'm particularly connected to, I feel. Okay, so that's the overall vibe. Pretty straightforward, grayish color, neutral, neutral, neutral. What is the versatility of this color? How usable is it under different circumstances and conditions? In terms of interior use, I would put muslin at a high versatility. I think this is a color that you can plop into nearly any room, and it's probably going to work. That doesn't mean that it's going to work better than any other color, but I think this is a pretty safe bet to sort of slot into a number of different design styles and decor styles, which I think is good. On the exterior side of things, I also call this a high versatility paint color. I think the way that it's composed, it suits interior and exterior usage very, very well. I guess the only drawback would be it is lighter, so it's going to feel pretty light when used outside, almost like an off-white, especially if you use it on the main body of your home where it's going everywhere. But it's going to have a little bit of coloration, more so than a bright white, which might be too daunting. I really think there's a lot of situations, a near limitless number of situations where I could see muslin slotting in pretty nicely. So I did listen to your feedback, everyone, and I do understand that you still want a few color pairings. So what I've been doing with these Hue reviews is I also give you a lighter color and maybe a different color just to sort of go with muslin if you just want a very simple 3-color trio, let's say. So in terms of a lighter trim color, I kind of like white chocolate with muslin. And it's just because it has a little bit of that sort of bright warmth to it. It's going to be a much lighter color with an 86 LRV, so that's a 20-point difference. 20% total lightness added on, which is basically enough contrast to really see the difference between the two. And I didn't want to go with something that was completely bland and stark and sterile as a white. I did want to bring in that creamy warmth, and white chocolate really does that nicely. And then the other pairing to go a little bit darker, because muslin is sort of in that lighter echelon of colors, I wanted to give you a mid-tone neutral that worked well with it, which is Wheeling Neutral. Another neutral, who would have thought? But I feel like this color has way more saturation. Like you can definitely see the tan happening in here, that beige. It's funny, it has a little bit of that sort of gold happening here, but in practical use, you can sometimes see a slight peachy quality. So it really does depend on how it's going to just incorporate itself into your home with your lighting conditions and your flooring. Next to muslin, it is a great fit. And again, you have nearly a 20-point difference in lightness. It's about 15, I think. The math is correct. Enough contrast to see a separation. So, hey, if you wanted a slightly darker trim color, wheeling neutral could work just as well as white chocolate would work as a bright trim color. Or you can even think of these as wall colors. You do you, man, slash woman, slash whatever. So what's my verdict on muslin? This is a color that I used to use a ton of, and then I just forgot about for like a decade. And I think it's because of the ebb and flow of design and warm and cool and neutral and slightly less neutral. Where would I put muslin on the palette pyramid to start with? What kind of color is this? Is it a main color that you can just paint your whole house with? Is it more of a support color that can help support another maybe neutral color? Or is it a finishing color to sort of be an accent? Definitely not that. Not an accent color. It's not even a support color. This is, for me, one of the quintessential main color options. Some may call it a builder's beige, a boring beige, but I think this is a groovy grayish. More beigey than gray, though. What I like about muslin is it really ties into where interior design has been heading these last couple of years with all these organic materials and textures, woods, earthiness, warmth. It has all of that, but just in a very subdued, mellowed out fashion because it is such a neutral. Absolutely main color worthy. So that's how I would use it, but would I? Sure, I could see myself using muslin. I think it's a color that is very inoffensive. It's a great neutral canvas color that has a little bit more presence than an off-white. That would otherwise be much lighter and a little more pastel. This has a little bit more depth, which I think is nice. It brings the warmth, but it's not going to pull focus too much. It's going to be able to sort of meld into the background, which I think is a good thing if you want the stuff in your room to be featured more than the walls themselves. And it's also great if you like to change up your decor pretty regularly. If you like shifting things around, muslin's going to just be there and do its thing no matter what. So that's a review. If you want me to do a palette pyramid utilizing muslin and then 5 other colors, let me know in the comment section down below, and we got another video right over here.